Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you are well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too, and let's crack on with today's first story. Much love guys. Now today's first story comes from Adventurous Cap 8649 from the relationships subreddit, and it says, my girlfriend, 23 female, seems genuinely disgusted by my interests, and I, 25 male, am starting to feel ashamed of myself. How do I address this? My girlfriend, 23 female, and I, 25 male, have been dating for about a year now. I love her a lot and I genuinely care about her deeply. I see her as my partner and my best friend, and I've always imagined a future with her. We share similar goals, values, and aspirations, and most of the time our relationship feels supportive and loving. That is why this situation has been weighing on me more and more, because it feels at odds with how close I thought we were. I'm kind of a nerd. Not extreme, but my interests are things like superheroes, anime/manga, games, and D&D. These are things I have liked for a long time, and they're a big part of how I relax and enjoy myself. She's pretty much the opposite. She's more into celebrity culture, going out, fashion, luxury, or trendy things. I do not have a problem with that at all, and I've always tried to be supportive. The problem is that whenever I bring up my interests, she reacts very negatively. She will scoff and say ew or look genuinely annoyed. At first, I thought she was just teasing, so I tried playing along as if it was a joke, but she actually gets upset when I do. She has told me that she finds these interests unattractive and associates them with guys who have bad mindsets like misogynists or incels. That really hurt. I do not identify with any of that, and I do not think my hobbies say anything about my values or how I treat women. I'm not asking her to like the same things I like. I just want basic respect and not to feel judged or gross for enjoying them. There have been moments that make me wonder if this is partly about image. For example, I'm using a very old iPhone and want to upgrade to a flagship Android phone. She keeps pushing me to get an iPhone instead, even if it's not the latest model. She says this is because she prefers using iMessage, but in my country, iPhones are also a status symbol. She has messaged before that appearances matter a lot to her because of how she grew up, which makes me unsure what the real issue is. Lately, I noticed that I hesitate to talk about things I enjoy around her, or I downplay parts of myself to avoid that reaction. I do not want to feel ashamed of who I am in my own relationship. How do I bring this up in a way that sets boundaries without turning it into a fight? Is this something that can realistically be worked through, or does this point to a deeper incompatibility? This isn't about different interests or anything like that. She actively finds what you do disgusting. She doesn't just dislike anime or Dungeons and Dragons, she finds them disgusting and uses stereotypes such as incels, etc. around that kind of thing. And she thinks less of you because you're into them, which is just wild. And I say this as someone with like hundreds of hobbies that I like to do and stuff like that, weird and wonderful ones, Warhammer painting, darts, drawing. And the fact is that you're already censoring yourself and feeling ashamed of what you do, which is just awful because of the way that she's treating you. I mean, there is a conversation you can have and talk to her about how it's exactly making you feel, but is she really going to change? Quite honestly, if someone said this and went ooh to me about hobbies that I enjoy, that I love, and they weren't supportive of it, I wouldn't be able to see them the same way, I don't think. But a commenter says, she honestly just doesn't sound very nice. There are plenty of nice women out there who like the same things you do, or at least can appreciate that you do like them. But once someone starts saying ooh at 1/3 of your personality, the relationship becomes untenable. Imagine spending the rest of your life hearing that. I certainly couldn't deal with it. It's effing cold here says, appropriate times for your partner to respond ooh. The cat just vomited in our bed. I just sat on a wet seat. I definitely just got norovirus from the Finnish hockey team. Inappropriate times. Hey, I want to share some of myself with you. Yellow Star says, I'm confused you're even starting dating this girl if you're so different. Like, what do you talk about? Sounds boring and demoralizing. OP says, we bonded over food and movies. We're both big cinephiles, and I love cooking while she's going out to try new food. We also share similar life goals, which is why this is hard for me. The issue isn't lack of overlap, it's feeling judged for certain interests. Barry Valkyrie says, is this what you want for the next 50 years? Someone who says ooh every time you talk about something you enjoy. Someone who thinks your interests make you unattractive. Don't settle for someone who makes you feel bad about yourself. Wait, don't says, you can do infinitely better with someone who doesn't act like a child. So 7 days later, we get an update that says posting an update because a lot of people commented and DM'd. We talked, like actually talked, not just surface level fixing things for the night. I told her straight up how it feels when she shits on my interests, that it is not just a small joke to me. Every time she scoffs or says ew, it chips away at me and makes me hesitant to share parts of myself. I told her I'm scared that if it kept happening, it could build resentment over time, and that is not something I want in our relationship. She listened and owned up to it. She explained that a lot of people she has encountered who were really into those same hobbies have made misogynistic remarks or behaved in ways that made her uncomfortable. Because of those experiences, she built this association in her head, and part of her reaction came from being afraid I might share those traits or eventually show them. I told her I understood where that fear came from, but that applying it to me felt unfair. I explained that it felt like I was being judged based on a stereotype rather than who I actually am. I told her she knows me well enough by now to know I am not like those people. The conversation got emotional and deeper than just hobbies. We talked about insecurities, fears, and how we affect each other. It got heavy and we both ended up crying, and we agreed to be more mindful with how we speak to each other, including her not dismissing the things I enjoy. Fast forward to recently. I was telling her about my day and kind of testing the waters without making a big deal out of it. I mentioned I watched an anime while working. I work remotely. Normally that might get a reaction, but this time she just asked about it. She asked if it was something I watched as a kid and whether I enjoyed it. No scoffing, no ooh, just curiosity. That sounds small, but I noticed it immediately and appreciated it a lot. I'm not declaring victory or anything. I just see it as a positive step, and I hope it reflects a real shift rather than something temporary. Also addressing something I saw a lot. People saying I'm putting up with her because she is hot, or calling her shallow. Yes, I think she is conventionally attractive, but no, that is not why I'm with her. And no, she is not shallow. She enjoys fashion and material things. It's just part of how she expresses herself and how she wants to be seen. It has never hurt her finances, and she has always been mindful about spending. She talks things through with me before buying stuff, cheap or expensive. Honestly, I do not think that is different from how many of us express ourselves through our hobbies. People buy expensive collectibles or gear. Yes, it is for personal enjoyment, but we also enjoy when others appreciate it or think it is cool. Wanting to be seen or validated is human, not something exclusive to one type of interest. I'm not pretending everything is magically solved now. I just wanted to share that we had an honest conversation. Emotions were on the table, accountability happened on both sides, and I've seen a small behavioral shift since. I'm paying attention to consistency going forward. Appreciate everyone who took the time to respond. Building efficient says to this one, sounds like you handled this really well, honestly. Having that kind of vulnerable conversation where both people can cry and actually hear each other is pretty rare. The fact that she was able to connect their reactions to past experiences and own up to how it's affecting you shows some real emotional maturity. That small moment with the anime question is actually huge. It's those everyday interactions that really show if someone's genuinely trying to change or just saying what you want to hear. The consistency thing you mentioned is key though. Keep an eye on that, but also try not to turn it into a test every time you bring up your interests. Also appreciate you pushing back on the shallow comments. People on here love to jump straight to dump them without considering that relationships are more complex than one issue. 404 says, I'm glad to get an update and hear that it's positive. I hope she continues to be curious and open to you. I know I posted on the original, and I'd just like to say that I don't think that she is shallow. I was trying to point out a negative stereotype about her interests. Every space has bad people. It's up to us to work out whether or not that person fits into that box. I'm so happy to hear that she was receptive and that you're both being vulnerable with each other. This is a small victory. It's good and okay to be happy about it and hopeful. Hope things continue to get better. It's good that you guys had the convo. I'm proud of you guys. It's hard to be vulnerable and accepting when there's a disagreement or concern. Good luck. I'm sending good vibes yours way. That it keeps going up from here. And there was a mix of comments behind this one. A lot of people saying good that they communicated and communication did win the day. Other people saying, this is something to keep an eye on for the future. Other people talking about misogyny behind those other hobbies. Again, both ways. Some people saying they've experienced it. Other people saying they've never experienced it. For me, I'm glad that they did have the conversation and things do seem to be turning around. She seems open and listening and actually asking questions about his hobby, more accepting and being vulnerable about herself. I kind of question that, to even have that kind of mindset in the first place, it doesn't sit right, but who knows? I hope things do work out for them. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below, and let's move on to another story. Now, our next story comes from Yeeticus Rex II from the Am I the Arsehole Here subreddit. And it says, my girlfriend got upset at me for liking her birthday gift to me. Am I the arsehole here? Odd title, let's get involved. Using a throwaway account just to keep things separate from my main account. Hi Reddit. I wanted to post my dilemma here just to get someone else's opinions on this matter and maybe some advice on what to do. To start off, I, 32 male, had my birthday a few days ago. My girlfriend of 1 year, 29, and I just decided to celebrate it at home. Basically just ordered some food for dinner and watched a movie together. After the movie, I got up and said that I would maybe play some games for a bit while she took a bath and gets ready for bed, when she suddenly told me she got me a present. Now, for some context, I'm a fan of FromSoft games like Dark Souls, but I haven't gotten around to playing the game Elden Ring yet. I know it's already been a few years since it's been released, but money has been tight and I'm saving up for a car, so I haven't gotten the chance to buy it. My girlfriend doesn't play games, but does know about this because I may have hinted a bit that I wanted to play it for a while now. When she gave me a gift, which was very clearly a case for a game, I got a bit excited, thinking she'd gotten me Elden Ring. But when I opened it, it wasn't Elden Ring but a game called Code Vein for the PS4. Now, I'm not gonna lie, at first I was kinda disappointed because it wasn't what I was expecting. But I grew up poor and my parents taught me to always be thankful for any gifts I received. I told my girlfriend thank you, got up, gave her a hug and a kiss on the cheek. Okay, so now comes the weird part. After kissing her on the cheek, she gave me this kind of surprised look and asked, "How'd you like my gift?" To which I was honest and replied, I mean, it wasn't what I was expecting, but it looks kind of fun, so yeah, thanks. And she gave me a surprised look. So I went on to play the game. I have both a PS5 and PS4. Well, she took her bath and did her nightly routine. It had been a while since I had played on the PS4, but after about an hour of playing, I was actually kind of digging the game a bit. It was basically kind of like Dark Souls, except in a very anime kind of style. About an hour into playing, my girlfriend came down to tell me the bathroom was free and I could take a bath. Now, I don't remember the entire conversation word for word, but it went something like this. "Oh yeah, sure, just give me a few minutes to finish what I'm doing and save my progress." She said, "So you really do like the game? Isn't it like an old game?" I said, "Yeah, but it's actually kind of fun." "You picked a good one, babe. Thanks." She said, "So you're really not upset that I didn't get you the game you wanted?" Opie said, "Yeah, I wanted Elden Ring, but this is good too. Why are you getting angry? It's your gift." At that point, she kinda had this frustrated look on her face, and although she wasn't shouting, she had raised her voice by a bit. I stared at her and asked her what was up. After some back and forth between us, she then begrudgingly admitted that she purposely got me the wrong game to get back at me because on her birthday, I'd gotten her the wrong gift. On her birthday, I'd gotten her a bottle of perfume, but while I had chosen the correct brand of perfume, it apparently wasn't the exact one that she wanted. Now, in my defense, during that time, I did ask her flat out what she wanted, and she told me the brand of perfume, but on the day I was buying it, there were tons of bottles to choose from. And when I called to ask which one she wanted, all she said was, "You should know what scents I like, surprise me." When I did give it to her on her birthday, she just smiled at me and said she loved it. So I honestly didn't question anything. So she then devised a plan. I would feel what she felt and thought that I would get upset at her for getting the wrong game, but didn't expect that I would actually enjoy it. Honestly, I'm not really even that upset at her for what she did, and this might be where I'm the arsehole. I even kinda laughed at her bad attempt at getting back at me when she explained it. I've also already apologized that I got her the wrong perfume and even offered to buy her the right one for her on my next payday. But now she's still mad over it and is calling me an arsehole and isn't talking to me. So Reddit, am I the arsehole? I'm not really sure because I guess I'm treating the situation kinda lightly, but maybe I'm not seeing things from her perspective. Any advice? An edit. Yes guys, I know you can play PS4 games on the PS5, but I have sentimental attachments to my PS4. It's the first console I bought with my own money, so I still play games on it from time to time. Since she got me a PS4 game, I thought why not play it on the PS4 since I had it. Didn't we cover a similar story yesterday with this kind of vibe where the girlfriend cleaned the whole house and made him 3 meals because, you know, her budget was limited for his birthday, but did everything she could, and then he wanted to get her something, and then on her birthday, instead of, you know, taking her for an experience she wanted, got her a silver necklace because he basically knew that's not what she wanted. I mean, bloody hell. It's all just a red flags, isn't it? I mean, purposely going out your way to buy something your partner that you know or you're hoping they will dislike is just worrying behavior. But Blue Coco says not the arsehole. I don't understand this mentality from a 29-year-old. This feels like something a teenager would do. Grudges and payback just show the level of immaturity your girlfriend has. Opie says, yeah, I don't know. She's usually much more level-headed and she's never done anything this petty before. Oh Hey says, you've considered that this isn't the birthday gift, right? Buying a gift she wanted you to dislike is a red flag, but it's also very likely that she set you up to buy the wrong perfume for her birthday too. She's looking for drama or for ways to make you feel bad. Ooh, yeah. But OP did update the post and says, just for the people that want it, it's here, my original post, and shares the link and then says, hey Reddit. Thanks to all the comments saying I wasn't the arsehole, although I didn't respond to a lot of your comments. I did try to read almost all of them, so thanks. I try to condense it as much as I can, but it'll still be pretty long, I think. There's a TLDR at the bottom. Anyway, the update is that we broke up. After reading a majority of your comments, I was able to formulate my thoughts properly, but please know that, contrary to your guys' advice, I fully went into that conversation with the intent to maybe just work things out and talk things through, but things devolved so far from what I was originally expecting. It was about way more than just a bottle of fucking perfume and a game. She had been avoiding bringing up the topic for the past couple of days, but today I urged her to sit down and talk about what happened, why she did what she did, and what she wanted from me. We talked for about 2 hours, which were probably the longest 2 hours of my life, and after a lot of pushing on my part, she finally laid everything out to me. She said she acted the way she did because she was frustrated that I had stopped being romantic. Okay, here's the thing. Over a year ago when we first started our relationship, we were still living separately and I was still renting out of a cheap apartment. Factoring out rent and utilities, whatever else I made, I would usually spend either on her, my hobbies, or my savings. So I usually got her flowers, trinkets, and gifts. Go out on dates every other weekend, you know, the usual stuff. Things changed about 6 months ago because I managed to inherit an old house from one of my uncles. It wasn't big, just 2 bedrooms, 1 full bath, living room, and a small basement, which is where I play. And it was a bit outside of the city area where I used to rent out, but the actual plot of land it's on is pretty sizable. Plus, you know, it's a freaking house. Like I said in my original post, I grew up dirt poor, and I honestly thought I'd be renting out of an apartment my whole life. I'd never thought I would never own my own property, so I was pretty happy with it. Now my girlfriend was initially pretty happy that I got a house too. But after she actually saw the place, she kinda took it back and even suggested I sell the place instead, which I refused. She comes from a well-to-do family, so I guess the house wasn't that impressive in her eyes. Unfortunately, the house is kind of a fixer-upper, so a lot of money I earn now goes into fixing up the house and maybe even expand it. And since it's outside the city, I've also been setting aside some money to buy a car. which I never thought of doing before because I used to just commute and the apartment I was at didn't have any space for tenants to park. So I guess my girlfriend has started to feel that I don't do as much of the romantic stuff I used to do before. We don't go out on dates as much, just usually in special occasions or holidays, and I don't get her as many gifts as before because most of my money is going to the house. I did try to point out I still try to do some small gestures here and there, like cooking her favorite foods and doing her chores for her. Heck, I even sometimes sing to her every now and then, even though I have a shit singing voice. Also, yesterday was Valentine's, so I did try to gift her some flowers and candy, but she just accepted it kinda sullenly. I offered to take her out for dinner, but she refused to. But yeah, even still, I guess that wasn't doing it for her. She said that I wasn't as attentive to her once compared to when we started going out, and she wasn't happy living in the small house I got. She said she only bothered moving in to show her support for me, but she honestly didn't like living in the city. She said that me getting her the wrong perfume on her birthday was the final straw, and she wanted to bail on our relationship. When I asked her why she didn't just come out and tell me that she wanted to end things, she said she wanted me to initiate the breakup because apparently her parents really liked me, and she was scared that she'd be cut off from their support if she broke up with me. Things apparently weren't going well at her work, and she'd been asking her parents for extra money for a while now, and she couldn't ask me for money because of the house. So essentially, she wanted me to get upset at her so that either A, I get frustrated enough at her so I would initiate the breakup, or B, get upset enough at her that she can play it off as he got really angry and she didn't feel safe with me anymore to her parents. But her plan wasn't going so well because apparently nothing she did bothered me enough to the extent that I would fight over it. She confessed to doing small annoying things for the past few weeks, like piling up the dirty dishes or making a mess in the bedroom to try and piss me off, but nothing worked. I was so oblivious to it and basically functioned like normal that her patience had worn thin by my birthday, and me enjoying the gift caused her to snap. It was such a messed up and convoluted plan that I have trouble wrapping my head around it even now. Anyway, after a long and frankly exhausting talk, she decided that things weren't going to work out between us. Aside from the obvious craziness of what she did, our priorities and values were just too different, and she also wasn't really happy with the state of our relationship. So she just suggested we break up and she was going to just deal with her parents her own way. She packed some of her stuff and is staying at a friend's house for now. I was honestly kind of dumbfounded over her reasoning, but I remembered a lot of your comments and I just agreed to part there. It really kind of sucks, and I cannot believe this all started over a freaking video game. It's only been an hour since our talk and I'm going to lay down for a while to decompress. Sorry for any messy writing here, and again, thanks a lot for your comments and for letting me vent here, Reddit. A lot of you guys said things that made me feel much better about myself. I don't really claim to be the perfect partner, and I definitely have some shortcomings. So I'm going to do some self-reflection for a bit before getting into a new relationship. Hopefully I can learn from this and maybe be better for my next partner if I ever find one. Hope you guys have good days, and always remember to be thankful for any gifts you get. Lol. That is just so messed up. The whole unsafe thing, trying to get him really angry so she could tell her parents she didn't feel safe with him anymore. That is absolutely wild to me. And on the back of this, it might sound a bit dramatic, but I hope Opie does have some kind of, evidence, text or whatever, just in case she does decide to spin some kind of story of why they broke up. Part of me wanted Opie to just tell the parents anyway, just in case she does spin a story, but that's, I don't know, it probably cause more drama than it's worth, right? And gives a kind of ammunition to say, oh, now he's harassing my family. I think it's one of those situations where we can say, absolute bullet dodged in this, but Wordsmithy says you stop being romantic. What she means is you stop spending money on her. Money does not equal romance. Hope you find a really nice girl who will love it when you offer to make her dinner, who won't accept gifts of flowers and candy grudgingly. Somebody who would love to plant a garden in your backyard. You sound like a very nice person. Current function says you didn't dodge a bullet, you dodged a freight train. Also, she's going to severely regret this later, while this all makes you sound like a catch. Vivid says, did she ever do romantic things for you? She sounds extremely shallow. Bullet dodged, not the arsehole. Wow, but what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Now, just a huge thank you for being here today, getting involved in the stories, your love, your support, your time. It always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much for being here. Truly is absolutely amazing. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Take care and much love.